Hey there, guys. So, training splits for the time poor dad. Now, this is a different variation, and not one that I often recommend at all. But depending upon the individual, this can work really quite well. And that is the Saturday Sunday upper body lower body split. So, on a Saturday morning, you'd hit your regular upper body split, being bench press, overhead press, barbell rows or dumbbell rows, cable rows if you wish, followed by bicep curls and tricep extensions. Now, it's a very, very basic, easy split. 4 sets of 10 for each exercise, and break times you're looking at 2 to 3 minutes. Now, with the biceps and triceps, if you want to save a little bit of time, you can superset them, and all that really means is doing one exercise, having a short 10-second break, getting stuck into the second exercise, completing that, and then having a 2-minute break, and then you repeat. So basically getting 2 exercises done, but only having the 2-minute break time at the end for recovery. I definitely prefer the 2 to 3 minutes. You're going to shift more total weight because you've got more total recovery. But some people really enjoy supersetting exercises, and that's completely up to them. Now, with the other movements, bench press, I'd opt for barbell. If you don't have that luxury because you don't have a spotter, then by all means do dumbbell bench. Last thing you sort of want to do is get pinned to the bench with no spotter. Doesn't end very well. So yeah, look, go for dumbbells if you want. Overhead press, your choice, barbell or dumbbells. I personally prefer the one arm overhead press. I just find it's a better shoulder movement for me personally. But everyone's different. One week you might do barbell, the next week you might do dumbbell. Play around and see what works well for you. With the rows, barbell or dumbbell, really depends upon the individual. I personally prefer the dumbbell row. I get a better contraction in my back. I prefer to be able to rest my hand on a bench and be more stable throughout the movement, which therefore means less involvement of the lower back. And that saves my lower back for, heavy squats, heavy deads, whatever else I need to do later in the week, or in this case the next day. But completely up to you guys, your choice. But as I'm saying, I prefer the one arm row. And then after that, bicep curls. Now your choice. You can do your traditional concentration curl, you could do easy bar curl, you could do barbell curl. Really up to you. I prefer using the easy bar when I'm doing a barbell version of the curls, and that's simply because I don't have great mobility in the wrists. If I warm up, different story, but again, comes down to the individuals. Triceps, you can either use the rope, you can use the handle and do push downs. You can, choose any sort of variation of tricep extension that you wish. You could even do a modified, dumbbell pullover if you find it works well. Or skull crushers are another option. But again, up to the individual. But at the end of the day, as long as you're doing these exercises and putting, the work in and making them quality work sets, you're going to progress. Then on Sunday, you have your lower body day. Now, depending on the type of work you have, coming up the next week, I'd only, squat, with 3 sets of anywhere 8 to 10 reps. And that's just simply because I want to keep the total fatigue through the lower back to a bare minimum, especially if you're working an intense job, construction or something like that, where you really do need your lower back every day to, move, work, things like that. If you're an office worker and you can afford to really push yourself, different story. But as a general rule of thumb, 3 to 4 sets of, heavy load going through the lower back is where I cap it. After squats, I would move on to something like a leg press. Now with the leg press, I'd set the safety rail just before your hips start to curl under on a leg press. If you've never gone really heavy on a leg press or pulled yourself in tight, it's hard to explain. When you start to use a decent weight on a leg press and your lower back or your hips start to tuck because you're coming down quite low, that can, for some people, aggravate their lower back. I'm one of those people that, it will aggravate my lower back. So what I do is I just start with the empty plate, bring it down to, where my lower back starts to curl, and I set the safeties, a bit above that. That way, when I'm doing the leg press, I can come down to, a point where the quality of the rep, has still a lot of range of motion, but it's not going to negatively impact my lower back. And I can sort of come down temporarily, pause it on that block, the safety, and then press it back up. So it's just a really good reference point. After the leg press, move on to something like leg extensions and then leg curls. And then finally finish off with, some sort of calf exercise. It could be standing or it could be seated, depending upon, what your gym has and what you want to achieve. Now, again, with the lower body split, 2 to 3 minutes break between sets is ideal. And, sets anywhere from 3 to 4 sets, depending upon your fitness level. You might want to start out with just 3 sets at the start. Training lower body is a lot more energy intensive than training upper body, because lower body contains the biggest muscles in the body, and it just takes more out of you. Now, you'll also notice in this split I've left out the deadlifts, and that's just, I don't want to squat heavy and deadlift heavy in the same day. Lower back, will really struggle with recovery. Some people, if you want, you can swap your squats for deadlifts, completely up to you and what you enjoy training. For me, I'd stick with the squats, and I'd probably just do front squats if it was me and I was stuck in this position. Front squats, I find, hit my quads really quite well. I can stay more upright, and total tax through the lower back is far less. But completely up to you guys. Then during the week, somewhere on about a Wednesday, you just want to do a light training session, 1 to 2 sets of everything at about 70% of the weight that you used, and you're just trying to speed through it all, and that's just to give you a little bit of extra volume, keep the motor patterns clean. Or if you just need to train at home, it can be something as simple as doing push-ups, pull-ups, followed by, walking lunges. As long as you're doing something during the week, it's going to help you progress. But many people, only train, once or twice a week anyway, and still make, they make progress. I wouldn't say it's great progress, but if that's all you're limited to, then, that's all you can really do. But, I'd opt still for a session during the week on a Wednesday. And even if you buy some Olympic spin lock dumbbells like the ones that I'm using, they're going to go a very long way in terms of what you can do at home. You can press them like dumbbell press, overhead press, use them for rows, hold them by your sides and do squats, walking lunges, hold them up towards your chest, and do a variation of like a goblet squat. So, you've got heaps of options in that regard, but, Wednesday, just a light training session. That's pretty much it for, this style of program. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, have a great day wherever you are.